Welcome back, everybody, to Gardens, the Untold Stories. Sorry, we've been gone for 4 weeks. We're finally back. Andy had computer problems, and then I've got muscle problems, but we're back. We're back with talking about the different cycles of nature. We had part 1 the last show, and we're doing part 2 today. So, Mr. Andy Lopez, the Invisible Garden, my co-host. I'm Ken Somerville. Andy, take it away. You're the one that wants to talk about cycles of nature.
Did you just call me Invisible Garden?
No, gardener.
Yeah, I heard you. I heard you call me Invisible Gardens. It's on tape.
Oh,
It's on tape.
Listen.
You have to play it back. It's on tape. I don't know
Okay.
what to do. I'm so depressed right now. I have to. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Greetings. Ghetto hippie too. It's that hard words to say. A ghetto hippie. It's like a weird song. Ghetto hippie. And then what's even weirder is there's two. There must be two ghetto hippies out there. Ghetto hippie 1, ghetto hippie 2. Hi, nice to see you again. I mean, I don't really see you. I mean, you see me, but I don't see you. I think you're AI. I think you're Ken's AI. I think that's what I think. I figured it out.
Artificial wife.
Artificial wife is the AI wife. Oh God. Did you see that, Lily? You're the AI wife. Oh, you're done.
I'm in trouble for that one. I'm going to get beat on later. I can tell. Yeah.
So everybody, look, we were talking last month. It's like I can't remember what I did yesterday. Now I have to remember what the heck I did last month. I seem to recall we talked about something to do with the carbon cycle, and we talked a little bit. I'm looking in the book that has it all written down, so I know for sure. The oxygen cycle. And we talked a little bit of the hydrogen cycle and the nitrogen cycle. And then those are the ones we talked about. And again, I iterated what they have in common. And I was thinking about the whole thing, what they have in common, these cycles. And, of course, it's obvious. It has to do with life. The planet Earth has to do with life. All these cycles have to do with what it takes to have life on the Earth. Isn't that cool?
Yeah,
it's not just humans. It's plants, animals, bees, insects, and that's all these things. Like for example, the phosphorus cycle. Phosphorus. People understand phosphorus cycle in terms of plants. When as a gardener, you know what the phosphorus. What is it? The first one of the 3 numbers: potassium, phosphorus, right? Nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium.
Yeah, NPK.
Yeah, NPK, right? So they get that part. At least to some degree, they say, well, phosphorus has something to do with plants and how they can produce. But it turns out really interesting because in order to make nitrogen, they have to have phosphorus. Yeah. Phosphorus is a necessary for the production of nitrogen. Without the nitrogen, the plants would not be functioning as well, and of course, all the other cycles would not either. What's cool is that they're all so intertwined together. One screws up, you screw up one cycle, and that's what's going on right now. We have literally been screwing up. We think that we isolated, right? Just say, okay, it's just a carbon cycle. We only screwed that cycle up. We only have too much carbon in the air now. It's not going to affect the other cycles. Oh no, all the other cycles are equally as affected. And so, if you really want to destroy the planet, you only have to screw up one cycle on the planet. The rest of them. Ding, 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 ding. They all go.
Dominoes.
The dominoes effect, right? So we have a phosphorus cycle. We have a potassium cycle. And again, the potassium cycle is so heavily intertwined with plants and human life that it's like, gee, this was made on purpose. So animal manure is very, very rich in potassium. It's for many, many reasons, right? And not only animals, but, when you think of animals, I think of birds, insects. They're not quote animals, so it'll be like living being manure, right? Manure from living beings, something like that, right? But you know what I mean, because you have insects, you have birds, fishes. Fishes are not animals. Do animals cover all those things? Do they literally,
Yeah, from the smallest to the largest, and just think of anything as how many cells is making up the animal an elephant has a lot more cells than, say, a worm or an arthropod or a
or an
shredded
insect.
cell. But it's all the same. They're all animals. They're all like we are, made up of biology, and it's all the same base biology, whether it's human, plant, or animal.
So in other words, I was correct when I say animal manure.
Yeah.
And for me, when I say animal manure, I do mean animal manure. It's like Noah's Ark. I would have loved to be a gardener in Noah's Ark. I would have manure from every animal on the planet right there, right? Okay, cough it up, ladies. All right, cough it up. Oh, I would have made the most amazing compost. Seriously, I would have made the most amazing compost. And that's probably what he did. What Noah did. He says, I got all this shit here. Well, I'm like, oh, I know. Let's compost it. And then he started growing it. That makes a lot of sense. I think I just blew my mind away. What are they talking about over there? Earth belongs to one of the major groups that scientists use to classify life on Earth. True, bacteria. What is archaea? That spiders? Archaea?
I'm not sure.
Archaea. I think it might be some kind of, no, it isn't.
Well, because I think spiders are arachnids, aren't they?
Yeah, right. It's some kind of shroom, tiny mushroom or something.
Yeah.
That would be the fungi, animals. So I think it doesn't really. Is that ARCHE? That has to do with the bugs? But I don't see any bugs in there, right? Insects in that list, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure because I don't recognize a couple of the words. So
I don't know what protist is.
Yeah, no, neither do I. So could be the smaller animals.
It looks like little tisks that are fro. It's a small pro who happens to be a tisk. A small tisk who's a pro. Come on, you know the protist is it. I have no idea what that is. The same thing with RTA. But I think those two words might be the things I'm talking about. Insects, because it doesn't even cover birds. They classify life on Earth, but they're missing. Well, I guess animal must be everything because that's what's in there. And animals. Animal covers everything, right? Animal covers everything. Everything else other than plants. I guess plants are not animals, right? That's fair.
Yeah.
Right. Do plants poo poo?
Not that I know of.
There you go. See, I figured it out, Silly. I figured it out.
That's part of their exudate. Maybe their exudate is part of that cycle. I don't know.
I figured it out, Silly. She was right. See, that's what I thought about. That is anything that's not an animal, plant, or a fungus. Any eukaryotic organism. So now she throws this eukaryotic organism. What the heck is that? Okay, Silly, tell me what the eukaryotic organism is. Any eukaryotic organism is not an animal, land, plant, or fungus. So that's like opening it wide up to is all kinds. Silly, you better stop this.
Okay, so she's saying it's the single-celled organisms that they're not classing as an animal because maybe they're classing in animals that has to have at least 2 cells.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. So that means so animals really cover insects, birds.
Yeah.
Anything with 2 cells.
Yeah. And that includes us because we're classed as a mammal, which is an animal.
Because I've always believed that in order to make the world, I've always considered my compost the world's greatest compost. I really did. I mean, I tell people every gardener needs to consider their compost that they make the world's greatest compost. Mm-hmm. That's in essence what you really want to do. You want to make compost so amazing. How much you want for that? Give me that gun. I have this gun. If you don't give me your compost, I'm going to kill everybody here. Because if I'm looking at the information here about the potassium, one of the things that is important is the animal manure, right? Yeah. It's how it decomposes, and now the algae and how everything else contributes to this phosphorus cycle, which eventually ends up with us. Eventually, we're the recipient of all this stuff. Every single one of these cycles, we benefit from it. And it's just like all the other animals benefit from it. And one of the things I find very odd when you're making compost, if you don't include animals.
Oh, that's you talking to somebody else there. You're double timing us again, Andy.
Wait. Hi, we're on the. Yes, ma'am. You want to say hi to everybody?
Is that Michelle?
Okay, bye. See, the way it works is that whenever I do this, I transmit waves across the universe. And people like my friends, like you, like her, so when I transmit, they get it. It's like an involuntary thing. You have to talk to me. And it doesn't matter where in the planet you are, they will. Because I have a lot of friends that travel around. You can be surprised at. And I tell them that don't worry about it. It's just because you got this flash of brilliant light and you have the urge to call me, just enjoy and relax because there's nothing to do. Right. And it's true. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. The percentage of people calling me right when I do a live show, 80, 90%. I always can expect people, and they're my friends. And they know that she knows I do this show. She knows because I think she's upset because we've done like what, number 27 or something. What is number 71? How many shows? Because it says so on the outside.
Yeah, this is the season 2, 27th episode of season 2.
So it's season 2. So we still got season 1, and we did just equal amount of episodes, more or less, right?
More or less. We've been at this for a year and a half. The
point is that we've done more episodes with you than with her. Okay, so it's like it's not like this is invisible or anything. But anyway, and that's really cool. I think I really appreciate people. I tell people that they should well seasoned now. Oh yeah, great. Thanks a lot. We are well seasoned.
That has to do with the gray too. Well seasoned.
We are well seasoned. Holy cow! Again, it goes back to So I started looking at these cycles things without realizing that the cycles was really all about what it takes to have life.
Yeah.
All the different processes. It's the calcium cycle. So for me, when I started doing gardening, I somehow keyed into calcium more so than anything, nitrogen, potassium, next to calcium, phosphorus was the other one that's really most important. But when I went to the nurseries, I want to get a fertilizer. Is NPK? What's NPK? And I said, well, where's calcium in it? It doesn't have calcium. Well, why not? And I learned that one of the reasons why I keyed into calcium was milk.
Yeah, yeah.
And I still to this day use milk to a certain degree because it is a really handy source of calcium. And it can be sprayed on plants. 1 cup of whole organic milk and a gallon of distilled water. And you can let it sort of cook overnight or maybe a few days to a week. It depends on the temperature. And you'll be surprised. And a lot of times people say you need to separate the whey from everything, whatever they call it. Oh no, you want that. You really want that. Because that's
the best part. That's the lactic acid bacteria is that whey liquid.
Exactly right. That is really the best part because that lactic acid bacteria is an entirely different source of bacteria that actually processes calcium, that actually processes magnesium. There's a couple of M minerals in there. There's magnesium and manganese, right? Manganese,
yeah.
Manganese. I think there's one more that starts with an M. Molybdenum or molly, blah blah blah.
Yeah, they call it molly, but it's molybdenum.
Right, and these are very, very important in order for the whole system to work. The whole process of how it controls bugs, how it controls diseases to work. These are these are what I call the exotic ones. Even though calcium is not exotic, but there's manganese and magnesium are a little bit on the exotic side in terms of how you're supposed to get them. And it turns out that the way you're supposed to get these and a few other ones is from the animals, whether you get them from the manure, from the food, and the manure, of course, you get it indirectly. I wouldn't suggest eating manure, even though it has a little tingly effect on your tongue. You know, it's really nice. People
Well,
say,
I
I
wouldn't
smell your
know,
breath.
Andy, but obviously the invisible gardener's been out there eating shit. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So they go, oh, your breath has that smell to it. It's like crap. It's like shit. It's like, yeah, okay, never mind. Anyway, so and so so when I got this really great book called Regenerative Soil: The Science and Solutions by Matt Powers. Build,
Yeah,
restore, remediate, regenerate. We should
yeah.
probably get him on. Did I mention him to you? Because I think you said something about he was on somewhere else here.
He's been on when we had the young ladies on the Sun and the Moon. We had Matt on their or on their program, and he was actually when I did the first it's all about the biology tour out in Elcomdale, Alberta. I had him on as well there. First time I'd actually ever met him, but yeah, Matt Powers rocks, guys. If you're getting into microscopy and want to understand that, he's got courses and he's got amazing books to
Maybe
offer.
we can have him on as a guest.
Yeah, I can reach out.
You can reach out to him and tell him I have discovered his great regenerative soil, the science and solutions. I love it. It's like a little bit of a Bible for me because I look at it from a gardener's point of view. I really do. I look at it not just like a human being. I look at it as a guy who likes growing things, and all these things are secret. They're secrets. It'll be like the the secret society we got going here. Because there's a comparison. The way people are using chemicals and stuff and we're the secret society that we're not using these chemicals. We know the secret of nature and all this stuff, right? We have our own little rituals going on and all kinds of cool symbols. So I think down the road they're going to confuse us with some secret society. I'm going to start doing what do you call it? Sacrifices. I want to do sacrifices. I think that would be really cool.
And what are you getting sacrificed? Lettuce, tomatoes,
Yeah, I was reading what Serena said. You put that up for. I think that's kind of cool.
Okay.
Okay, you read it because it's too much words.
Even though I gave my bed the iced coffee, molasses, and whole milk mixture, I haven't noticed any greater leaves. In fact, one tomato plant only has one leaf and doesn't seem to be growing its second.
Okay, you're mistaken. Okay, so you're mistaken. The iced coffee, molasses, and whole milk, it's not a greening up mixture. It's not a mixture for greening up. So what you have there is a mixture that opens up for other sources of nitrogen that you use. You still have to have some type of nitrogen for it to green up. The plant there will provide that mixture will provide calcium. You make it very rich. But if you don't have any nitrogen in the soil, for example, or any nitrogen fixing plants in the soil, then you're going to have to give it some nitrogen. And the nitrogen can be done in so many different ways. Ideally, if you fix the soil biology, the nitrogen is in the air. So that just tells you the soil biology is not there. That particular crew, Section 744B of the Soil Health Society, that's a group of little biologists, and their job is to have these nitrogen. And then that's one of the things that I talked about here before in terms of the phosphorus cycle, in terms of these other cycles. The phosphorus cycle has these nitrogen fixation bacteria in the roots, which are part of the phosphorus cycle, but you do need the calcium cycle in order to process the nitrogen to get it going. Because you can't. So all these things are keyed in together. So one of the things that I would say to you is that you need to understand a little more about the whole process of when you make stuff and how the biology can react. Because a lot of times, I'll give you an example so I was just at a place today. I was there actually 2 weeks ago, brand new customer. The person planted some citrus, yellow. And they were being given chemical fertilizer. They're still yellow. They were getting yellow. They weren't doing very well. The lady decided, I'm not going to kill them call the rooter man. That's me. So I went there, and so she had told me what's happening, so I already knew what to do. I brought my super seaweed mixture, the worm juice and stuff like that I already mixed in. But what's different from this mixture that you're talking about here is that there's no real source of trace minerals in this mixture. So this mixture is not going to provide the coffee will do a little iron, magnesium, maybe, you know, the molasses, of course, will also have iron, a little phosphorus in it, and the milk will have some calcium in it. You need 90 trace minerals to really make the whole process green up. Ideally, so I have 90 in mine. I came back 2 weeks later, the whole thing had greened up. Okay, because each of them work complementary together. So if you want your what was it?
Tomato.
Greener leaves. You didn't say. I guess you just talk about tomato. As a matter of fact, the tomato is a heavy eater, heavy nutritional eater. So you may, Serena, you may want to start learning how to use C90, SEA 90.
And rock dust, you know.
Great. I'm glad you brought it up, too, because normally I would say, just get some rock dust, a little nice power out of the soil. But as I get older, I find that it's a lot cleaner to do the C90 than to do the rock dust, because I've had eye surgery on my eye, the wind blows in my eye. I'm done for in terms of dust. Normally you take the rock dust, you add that to your compost production, not directly into the soil. You see, the same thing with C90. It tells you to add C90 to the soil, but then again, think about it. It's a salt. You don't want to add that directly to the soil. You want to dilute it. So I have to call them up as, what do you mean add it to the soil, right? He's like, what? But probably they say that they think that's diluted enough that that's not going to damage it. But so what's missing is the source of trace mineral. So if you can't get the C90 is so easy because it just comes in like a little salt. It's a salt thing. But the rock dust is easy too. There are lots of different companies that sell small amounts of rock dust in tiny, small bags. So I think I've forgotten the name of it, but I think it's this local, LOCAL. I think I talked to you about it once. You went up and you pulled it up. Yeah. And they had 12 different sources of rock dust, small amounts that you can use. But what you need to understand is that you need to feed the rock dust to your mixture. You need to get the biology you just made, eat the rock dust.
Break the chemical bonds out.
Exactly right. Right.
Another question.
Go ahead. I can't read it, but
what causes yellow spots on watermelon leaves and how should I treat it? I also have a lot of grasshoppers and even saw a snail the other night. I did see my first praying mantis last week, though.
Hi, Serena. I like you.
And guys, I'm gonna have to step away for a second, so you're gonna have to put up with Andy, but I'll be right back.
Leave the question up there. Oh, he's gone. Okay, guys. So the yellow spots is basically a bacterial disease, which basically means it's a soil disease, which basically means that first of all, I bet you anything that you're using city water because the water is destroying the natural bacteria in your soil. So if you had a filtrate system for that water they were putting in the ground, you wouldn't have nearly as bad because the water can still. So what you have to do is you have to pay attention to the health of your soil that you have. You need to increase the biology, and you also want to really increase it through different sources of trace minerals. Like rock dust is pretty handy, but the rock dust, you have to break it down. You have to have some biology in the soil or something alive to break it down. I've learned that when I take rock dust and apply it to people's property, it can be there for thousands and thousands of years. The rock dust is not going anywhere because there's nothing to break it down. That's why I constantly tell people, bring some soil in. Find somebody that makes compost. That's an ideal additive to your soil, because then you can spray the bacteria to the compost already has the bacteria and the biology in it, but you can spray some of your own mycorrhizas and things like that to the compost, which will then hold it and inoculate your soil. If you want to bring your soil back to this cycle of producing the right type of microbial mycorrhiza. That's exactly what you want. So this is an indicator. Really, it's one of the main things that you're missing in this scenario is calcium. So you're going through a calcium deficiency. This is the number one product of having a calcium deficiency. These particular type of blight, it's known to function in a calcium deficient environment. What it means is that when you're calcium deficient, there are other types of hormones and other types of minerals that are not available to the plant. And if the plant does not get these minerals, they will weaken. And also what happens too is that your pH level is wrong, because the pH level, this type is a bacterial spot. It could be there's thousands of different names. It doesn't matter if it's a watermelon. It could be the same one, transfers from one place to the other one, slightly different. But again, it's a disease, a bacteria that's in the soil that gets to spread under the right conditions. So that means that those plants are in that soil, not getting the calcium they need, which in turn are not getting certain other minerals. And with the combination of that, of the soil biology not inhibiting that bacteria causes this problem, you're going to get this problem. You wouldn't have the problem so bad if your cycle of water was more harmonious with nature. Nature doesn't water all the time. It needs to dry out in between. So you need to look at your watering cycle. You need to give yourself a couple of days in between. Let everything dry out. If you did that, the bacteria will naturally dry out. And then, of course, you want to increase your calcium intake, right? And there are lots. I just finished talking about one of the fastest way you can increase calcium is through milk. So you get organic milk, whole fat, because that's where the good stuff is. And you make a liquid out of it, and you can spray it at night. You want to spray it at night, but you'll get the calcium, but you do need the minerals. So getting calcium by itself doesn't help you if you don't have the rest of the minerals, because it opens up the bank. Okay, we're accepting calcium deposits, mineral deposits now, but if you don't have the minerals, the bank will say, wait a minute, we got plenty of calcium here, but we still need the rest of the minerals. So you want to actually make a mineral tea to spray, which has high in calcium. I've learned that it's no coincidence that what we want in our body will work on your plant. So lots of different trace minerals products you can buy in the store are very good for your garden. So Dr. Willard Water, Wallard. Okay, Lily, bring it up. Dr. Willard Water.
Okay, and Ghetto had a statement, I think more than a question. What the Romans did was an excess of salt, which killed the field. So you don't want to do that. That's where Andy's saying very small amount goes a long ways. But then the real question, would using humates help chelate the chloride and chloramine from city water?
One of the best ways to eliminate these things or any other chemicals from city water is to learn how to solarize your water. You can run the water through a system where they get aerated. It's just like making like when you want to make a structured water, you rotate it, you twirl it, right? So that's what you have to do. You have to aerate it. The water, air, all these things will go up into the air and disappear. Same thing with chlorine. A bunch of other chemicals will. I don't know what the name of it. Yeah, gas off. Right, it gases off, and then you'll find too that the other way that you can do a natural system is plants. So they have, like, for example, pools that they have plants that the water runs through the plants and cycles back into the pool. Well, learn about that, because you can actually have a garden where you cycle your water in and then pump it out of the other end to use, if that's what you want to do. That's one of the best way to do that. The other way, there are a whole bunch of ways. One of the ways that's really, really cool is you run the water through an electromagnetic field. So if you want to run the water through an electromagnetic field, it will literally change the physical structure of the water, which then these things will precipitate. They'll be in the water, and the filter can get them out. That's the problem. They're so tiny, the filter is not going to process them, right?
Yep. So what did you want Lily to look up again, Andy?
Willard, Dr. Willard, Wallard. Dr.
Then
Willard.
Lily had a question as well. Do you know anything about
hydrangeas?
And mine is not doing well. Don't know if it's got too much strong sunlight or got too much water, leaves went brown and dropped off.
Okay, so that's you have a bacterial, again, it's another bacterial disease in the soil. These plants like a specific pH level. They're really super acid. So if you look at you need to know what I bet you if I was to actually know what pH level is the container that or in the ground. I assuming they're in the ground. Is your soil? You'll say I don't know, and you'll find that it's way too high. Even if it's neutral, it's too high. 6.5 is too 6.0 is too high for hydrangea. If you look at 5.3, 5.5, now we're talking. And so
Okay.
and the problem with the hydrangeas at that level is that it's missing a lot of the microbes that normally will give them the different types of trace minerals and stuff. So what you have to
Yeah.
do is you have to provide for them in a liquid form all these trace minerals so that they like the calcium, magnesium, and iron. So if you're feeding it just a normal food, you need to get something that's really rich in trace minerals. So you have to literally think about tomato food, right? Tomato food. That's organic tomato food is very good for that. I talked to some pot growers. They have the best sources of trace minerals for their plant. Oh, here you are. You're a pot grower. What do you use for trace minerals?
Well, different rock dusts, azomite, actually sea salt that I mix in a very weak solution. But yeah, like your azomites, your green sand, your rock dusts.
Okay, so
Um,
the rock dust is no good because the rock dust is very high alkaline. Unless you learn how to dealkaline the rock dust, it's just pH is all through the roof. It's not gonna work. I mentioned Dr. Willard. Silly, bring it up.
are you looking for Fearless Gardener brand, Dr. Willard?
I really never heard of Fearless Gardener brand, Dr. Willard. Just bring it up and let me see what it looks like, because I never heard of Fearless Gardener brand. I think it's probably something he would do, right? Fearless Gardener brand. But it's an amazing source of trace minerals.
Yeah.
It's an amazing
And,
source of trace minerals.
yeah.
And it's C90 and azomite. It's spelled wrong, but azomite C90 so make a good combination. I still, if I had the opportunity, I would still use rock dust, but I would learn to pre-process it first. I would put it in the compost, for example. I don't give rock dust to the worms. It's too alkaline. It'll kill them. They would not be able to process. Even just a teeny little pinch. I don't put the C90 in there because I think the salt will kill them as well. So there's a link there. What does that say?
I'm actually, it says fearlessgardenerbrand.com collection / Dr. Willard. So I'm just going to look up Willard water.
So you have, and Willard water is a alkaline solution, not too alkaline, but it has all the wonderful trace minerals in it. Very good for people. I've discovered it's also very good for plants, and you can feed it to your plants. But what I do is I talk to Willard. There's another one, concentrate. Right there you go. Willard water, Amazon.
So
Willard water.
Dr. Willard water concentrate. And
Right.
it's I'll put the website up in the links here.
Right. It was made for people. I've been taking it for about 120 years now. And I told the company, I said, I dropped a whole bunch of my rose. I came back 2 weeks later. I went out of town, and the rose went nuts. It grabbed me, started talking, wouldn't stop talking. So whatever you put in the Dr. Willard water, my roses love this stuff. And so I actually put it into my super seaweed. It's one of those catalysts that a little bit makes everything else work really well. You have to be really good at hunting for trace minerals. Andy's only 25 though. Yeah. Well, no, you're wrong. I'm 37.
And holding.
No, it goes backwards. I'm going to go to another.
Okay.
pretty soon I go back there and she said, "Oh, you're 35 now. Oh my God, look, George, he's 35." So yeah, and it's true. I've discovered, not discovered, I've just been into. If you're really good at organic gardening, you're going to have to be really good at organic gardening for your body, kind of thing.
Exactly, because our bodies need those same nutrients that the plants do. We're supposed to be getting them from the plants we're eating, which we're not anymore, and that's why you can look at what you're giving to your plants is components that our bodies need, and treat your body like you would treat a plant.
So it says here, magnesium is essential for plants being green.
Mm-hmm.
So there, you people think, well, nitrogen is what makes plants green. No. And it's really cool the way they have these things, which are not really obvious. You say, okay, I'm going to go get some nitrogen, the plant turns green. So it's got to be nitrogen that does it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big difference in the chemical source of nitrogen, which pumps up your body. It may look green, but if you really look at it closely, you'll see that it's not green. In nature, it's a blue green. When it's a really rich, dark green, that plant is cocained out. And one of the things about the magnesium cycle is there's plants and animals and manure again. So it's all part of this. The manure. And what's interesting too for me is that, okay, think about, well, just maybe 500 years ago, the amount of animal manure in the world was amazing. Go back 1,000 years, you get animal manure is like, holy cow, right? And now you have just a teeny weeny amount of animal manure in the world, which is, and to me, the animal manure is the key, right? The key that provides the biology throughout all these different cycles. Isn't that kind of, and to me, it's like, yeah, if somebody did this on purpose, this whole thing.
And we also have to remember that certain molecules or constructs like to be together, and that's where calcium and magnesium together penetrate the cells that much more, is used by the biology that much more, because it's able to draw both in. We're just having one them separated, then you're not getting as much of an uptake. That's why having a mixture is so important.
Here's the thing I learned too that's really cool in terms of, because one of the things I learned right away in my early youth, my early hippie use, is that, for example, LSD your human body has receptors in your body for LSD. Places where LSD can just plug right in, ding, or even psilocybin, any other psychedelic. There are different receptors in your body that you plug in as if it's meant for that ding. That works, okay, right? And it's really, and so all these different cycles are like a Rubik's cube.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They are all intertwined, intermashed together, and they all fit right. And when they all fit right, it goes ding, right, and everything works. But if you screw around with it, you take out one piece, the rest of them are not going to work. And nature is that way too, and for everything that it does. So it makes sense that this whole thing has been very well planned. This doesn't happen just by accident. All these things plugging in together. Something happened that these things happen. So, okay, let's just let's fit in here, right? Oh, let's all fit in here. Let's all do it. And if they all fit together, they produce an entirely different thing than what they're trying to do it by themselves.
Yeah,
that's what human beings are. We fit so well together into this physical body that we have here. It's like, what the heck happened there, right? You know what I mean?
Well, think of a car engine, Andy. You take a certain component off of it, and the engine doesn't run, yet everything is there other than one thing that makes it run. It's got to have that combination of everything put together in the right proportions to make everything work properly.
I was never a hippie, you guys. Never. I never had really long flowing robes. I was listening. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to change the subject, but I was listening to Spirit in the Sky.
And Lily's reminding us that you were the one at Woodstock on top of the tower, and they're telling you to come down.
I don't remember what happened afterwards. I only remember looking at the video, going, that guy looks really familiar, and I still have
Ghetto
not,
still saying you still haven't come down yet,
and I
Andy.
still haven't come down. I don't think I will.
You
I think that I'm going to be one of these guys when you die. There's like a kite. My coffin would be like a kite floating in the air, a little string. You want to hold the string? Fine, walk around with it. That's Andy and his floating coffin.
Mhm.
So anyway, the next cycle is sulfur, and sulfur is really super amazing. Sulfur cycle. I mean, all these cycles to me are really interesting because once you learn what it is they do, and then you know more as to what it is you need to be doing, because we are gardeners in this whole thing here. We can't be recreating the wheel, recreating cycles. The cycles function, and we just have to be, as a good gardener, we want to be not getting in the way, but producing, uh, be functioning as part of the team.
Yeah, helping
That's
out where we can.
that's why I love the name Invisible Gardener, because I love helping my fellow beings in their cycles, and you don't
Yeah.
need to get credit for that, because I know that if that cycle is functioning really well, it's going to come back to me. And my
Yeah.
cycle will be better. And sulfur, to me, I've always, one of the things about sulfur is garlic. So I learned about sulfur through garlic.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
kind of twisted.
you want to know how I did that? What happened?
No, tell
So
us. Tell us.
I wrote a book on how to control mosquitoes from biting you. I think you guys may have heard what I said. Did you remember what I wrote in that one page book?
Yeah, put garlic in your shoes, and then it'll
That's right.
transport through your whole body, and they don't like the
So
smell.
it's
So
not the garlic that gets transported to your body; it's the sulfur in the garlic.
okay, okay.
Garlic is sulfur. Garlic is a compound of sulfur. I think there's a name over here for it. I don't know. Sulfurious, something really. It's a cool name, and it works really well for some of the specific uh, minerals, like zinc, for example. Zinc is another one of those minerals. Like, if we don't have it in our body, we're going to die, because it won't.
Yeah,
If anything is missing from our body, it will break down. We will die.
yeah.
Sometimes we go die horribly, right? Some crazy disease. Other time we slowly melt away. What a world, right? You don't function, but
I'm
and,
melting.
and all these things really, really have to function really well. And again, in this great book, by the way, the regenerative soil book, the regenerative soil. I don't know if you can
Yeah,
see it
the Matt
anywhere.
Powers. No, we can't.
There it is.
Yeah, that's the Matt Powers books, guys.
Again in the cycle, the social cycle, it's got animals and manure are a very, very big part of the sulfur cycle. So here we have animals. So all these cycles need animals for it to function.
Need the
Right? So
components.
I find that really interesting too, because if you take all the animals out, you're not going to have all these cycles. You'll have some of them. Like the sulfur cycle will be different, but as long as things are burning, there's going to be some sulfur floating around.
Hmm.
But I think that Mother Nature will say, hey, since we have these things already functioning here, let's put them together and see what happens when we do it. When we do it as a team, because I think she took the biology team idea, right? And that's the reason why she created the biology team idea, because she wanted the cycle team idea. The cycles, all the cycles have to work as a team together for it to function properly. I mean, I think of it in such weird ways on it, but that's what it comes down to. And I didn't plan for this. It's just speaking off the top of my head. But that's what it is that these cycles are really gears that all are intertwined together. One gear is broken, the rest of it sort of breaks down, doesn't work. And
Yep.
and when we're looking at so one of the articles I'm writing is about, the lady says, okay, I have an ant infestation. I have a whitefly infestation. I mean, she has her property, not her. But one lady says, I have a whitefly infestation. I said, lady, you should take a shower more often. And that was my joke. That was my joke. But so she said she has a whitefly infestation, and the fruit trees have peace leaf curl. What can I spray for that? And you know what you know what my answer would be to this lady? What?
Biology.
That's right. I said, lady, you don't have, this is not the problem you have. You have no soil. So I
Mhm.
started her about 5 months ago. Took her on a tour. I said, okay, show me where your soil is. You have any soil here? Well, that's clay. It's called
That's
substrate.
dirt.
It's a subsoil. It's not even a soil. It's supposed to be below your soil.
Mhm.
Any soil that normally you would have on top, you either cleaned it away or you scraped it away when you built your house, put the construction sand. No soil. If you don't have any soil, you're not going to have the construction workers living in the apartment, because that's what soil is, the condos in the city, to
Yep.
produce, to manufacture what your plants need to survive. Because when you have an infestation of any creature in the soil, you have a problem with the soil. The soil controls ants, controls diseases. Diseases are in the soil. The only reason why they're not spreading like crazy is because the soil biology has it under control. Screw up with that, and definitely you will have these problems. So she wanted me to spray something to kill the ants.
Mhm.
And I want to tell you one more thing too. This is really weird. So this has never ever happened to me before. So I got a new customer,
Okay.
I go to her place. It's kind of nice. I planted some carapia and I did some spraying, a couple of months of spraying, and then I show up one month and she's, I got a beehive. I said,
Okay.
okay, a beehive. And so I sprayed, did my thing, and then came back the next month. She says, your spraying killed my bees. I go, what? Your spraying killed my bees. So you need just to spray over the other part. You don't want to spray anywhere near the house, near the beehive. And I said, excuse me, I've been in business since 1970. I've never killed not one bee. There's a
Yeah.
problem here because the lady has a pest control company that sprays around the house. She says, oh, it's only around the house. And this stuff is toxic stuff, right? Really toxic stuff. And so I try to tell her, look, so here is the scenario. You're upset with a guy who comes to heal your soil and accuse him of killing your bees, but you have no problem with a guy who comes to kill your ants and then totally safe for your bees. Because I said, all you need is one bee. Bees normally die. They come anywhere near stuff, push, they're dead. Never make it back to the colony. But what I think happened was this colony is that one bee made it back. Your majesty, yeah, boom, everybody.
Mhm.
And so it's mind-boggling for me to think that this person that you killed him with what you sprayed, as opposed to he killed it, and we know that he's spraying pesticides.
That's a lack of knowledge on her part in a major way.
Isn't that? It's mind-boggling to me because
Yep.
I'm going, holy cow! And so it's the same thing. So I have another customer, brand new, and she says, okay, let's try it for 3 months and see how it works. And I told her, heal so you break arm, how long does it take you to heal? Or if you have
Mhm.
cancer or whatever, how long is it going to take you to heal? 3 months, is that enough time for you to heal? And she said,
Mhm.
what are you talking about? I says, well, that's what we're doing here. We're trying to heal your soil. So in 3 months, you're not going to see. You're lucky if the plants start accepting the food I give them, which they do because I spray. That's why I do. I told her that's why I spray foliar.
Yeah.
They greened up already because they sucked it, and that means their roots are not working. If the roots are not working, you think 3 months from now they're going to be working? And she's just now put some soil compost down, just
Yeah.
now. And so I sprayed it, I soaked it out, but it's not going to be like I come back next month, everybody's party, you have the microbe, the biology, everybody's everybody's at work, and then you're like in Egypt, all the slaves. It's not like that. You're lucky if you even have a few of them going on. What the hell is going on here? I can't find anything, but there's no tools. It's like
Yeah. There's no
the
place to
condo,
live.
yeah,
There's
the
no
condo is
organic
not exactly fixed
material.
yet. There's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
water system. There's no system here. Yeah, so it's not. So I have to. And I learned what you do is you explain it to them as if they were kids. I was going to say idiots, but they're not idiots yet. There, but
Your
I
kids.
explain to them as
Yeah.
if they're children because they don't relate to what you're doing as healing anything.
Mhm.
Which is so throughout the years I've learned to say, healing takes time. What are
Yeah.
you healing? Well, I'm healing your soul. There's nothing wrong with the soul. Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
You
And
don't
so
have
that's
any.
and I have to maintain that. I have to stay in that mode, because
Yeah.
and what happens is that the ones that leave do not comply with when I tell them, okay, you can't put down crap compost. You can't go to the store and buy this crap and expect it to be work, because this is compost that's crap. Anything that's sealed bag is not alive. There's nothing in here. What part? I had a friend who used to make this compost for me the way I wanted to. He decided to make some changes, and so he's no longer. I'm no longer buying compost from him because his stuff is like nothing there.
Yeah.
First of all, if when he started making compost for me, I said that this has to go out within 24 to 48 hours. It has to be applied. So he would make compost, let it sit there for months until in the sun. And I said, there's nothing there. I'm getting nasty texts from these microbes. They're all dying. And then you think that this stuff is any good, because it isn't. It's like the mycelium, everything is dead in there. Even the worms are like keeled over, you know. And so it's a process for me to. One of the reasons why I do this education, I can talk about the cycles. Again, it goes back down to the biology in the each of these cycles are meant for the biology, which in turn the biology is meant for us, for the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees. That song, and a thing called love, right? Right.
Yep.
So that's what I'm trying to get across to people. Hi, Roy. Your name is spelled the way I don't like people spelling my name. I really hate it when they spell it that way. So I don't know if you should kick him off here. Talk about the biology.
Well, he could use his other name, which is Grumpy. You
Grumpy?
know, Grumpy.
But so one of the things I'm doing with the cycles things is I'm trying to show you that Mother Nature has this incredibly interrelated system that all of it's connected to each other, and we are connected to all of it, right? And right now the cycles are really, really screwed because they're not really functioning correctly, because we have decided to screw around with it. We have decided to make some major changes to the system. Toxics are actually ridiculous, because it's not just a few. It's like thousands and billions of different kinds of toxins that we have released on the planet. And the biology should say, if we did that, and for some reason a spaceship came and took all humans off the planet and left the Earth alone, the biology will recover. The biology will go, thank heavens we got rid of that virus. Thank heavens we got rid of that cancer. And the biology will figure out a way to correct itself. It doesn't mean that humans will come back. Doesn't mean that the animals and life will show up the way it has been, because all those things, certain things have to happen, and it may not happen again. You may be a totally barren planet. Who knows? So all these things came into being, and I'm pretty sure I just haven't. I have an appointment with God. He won't see me. I said, "Hello, can I talk to you for a moment? I have a few questions." You know, and so I kept saying, "Is the Earth really in trouble, or is just humans in trouble?" What comes back is that, "What do you think? What do you think?" I'm going, "Humans are in trouble." Yes. I go, "Oh shit." Right? And even the ancients are going, "We told you, buddy. We tried to tell you. You can't do that. If you want to do it, just go ahead, blow yourself up." And there's nothing saying that we are going to do that again. Nothing saying that. And so for me, it's really cool that I get to talk about these cycles. I mean, I haven't even look at let me go over the path. What? There's the manganese cycle. There's a zinc cycle. There's a copper cycle. Okay. There's a chlorine cycle. There's a molybdenum. Molybdenum. And then there's boron cycle. There's the silicon cycle. A nickel cycle. A selenium cycle. A cobalt cycle. And it's like never ending the cycles. And what's really cool about it is that these also equal to the trace minerals that we need. So when you look at iron cycle, to me, it's a trace mineral. Yeah. Too much iron is toxic.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. You need, and it doesn't even cover the toxic metals that you normally are going to get, because you normally don't consider them as part of the cycle, but they are a part of a cycle that we need to understand. And these things are self-functioning. What's cool is you take us out of the picture, they will continue to function. because if you take animals out of the picture, then it won't function because it needs the animals. We're an animal, so I'm hoping that if they so it's kind of weird. If we're going to keep the animals here, the humans need to stay too. If we're going to get rid of humans, then all animals go too. So it's like they're so intertwined. You can't say, okay, we're just going to get rid of the humans and leave the sheep and all their creatures here alone. I don't think that there's a tool to do that. So I think we're in a position where we think that we're here for ourselves and that we're going to survive this, but in reality is that we're out and we're going to take all animals with us.
Mm-hmm.
That's my forecast.
Take the whole planet, the plants, the animals, us. It's all going to be gone if we keep going down the path.
And all that's left are the other tiny little microorganisms that have nothing to do with humans. The bacteria.
Well, consider the microorganisms that are buried deep in our rock structures, the same that's on the top of the soil, that's 10,000 feet down. The one on top of the soil lives for a week, 10 days, say. The same one that's underground, that rock, lives for hundreds and thousands of years. And once that is disturbed, comes back to the top, then the biology can start again.
So it's a very interesting. I find myself in a very interesting scenario because, as a gardener, as a lover of life, I see that this is an amazing product we have here. It really, truly is. And all you have to do is think about it in a certain way because it's made to be for simple. It's not made for people to make it complicated. It's not made for people to continue to with the toxins. Toxins is really interesting because I can't get away from it. I cannot get away from toxins. Everywhere I turn around, every time I look at anything, now what are you doing? No, oh, you want to talk to me? Oh, you're eating that. You want me to do what? Holy cow. And so it's like, I'm hoping that there's a wake-up call in there somewhere. Okay, we have to stop all this. But that's not going to happen. I think we're going to keep on smoking our cigarettes, keep eating our junk food. And unfortunately, they're going to take all of us down with them. Because you can't say, okay, you blow yourself up and I'm cool over here.
That's well, we gotta see what happens, Andy. But Lily's got a question for you.
Yeah, what question is it?
Would a very dry log / firewood placed in the bottom of a plant container rob the plant of any nutrients? And she's saying, I put a firewood in the container to help fill it, so having to use less soil.
No. So what will happen is the bacteria will propagate on the firewood. It will love the firewood on the surface of the firewood. It will slowly start to eat into it, make it its own home. It's actually very, very good to do that. It just takes forever, right? It'll take forever for that wood to totally disintegrate. Yeah. But if you keep the biology in the container, it will start to decompose. That's one thing I like about trees. When trees fall, you have exactly that. And they take a long, long time. They make this amazing product that biology grows on it like crazy.
Yeah. And like Rory says, it's like a Hugo culture, which is what Leighton Morrison talks about. And you put that log in there. But Jane wants to reach out to you, Andy. This is from your YouTube channel. My son is co-director at the Huntington Botanical Gardens, and I would love to have you talk there. So
I know who you are, Jane. I know who you are, Jane. And you know how to get a hold of me. I would love to come to the Botanical Gardens. And so which one was it again? The Long Beach?
Huntington Botanical.
I've been there. I've given talks there. I've given talks all up and down Southern California. So yep. I love it there. All you have to do is give me some good food. I don't want to
feed me.
Usually the botanical gardens have some amazing vegetables and some amazing fruit too. And I love to go when they're sampling that because you can have all kinds. What's really cool, if I'm lucky, I would end up with some plants.
Cool.
I'd love to come up with some sapote or some little amazing little plant that I can grow. And I miss going out, but I used to drive all up and down San Diego, up and down to California. Now I can't really do that much driving, but I still love talking, as you could tell. So,
Hey,
guys, I think we're done.
we're at our hour. Andy, are you doing any talks anywhere else? I know you've got your articles coming out every week.
Well, what I'm doing is I'm setting up some online workshops.
Okay, cool.
And
Cool.
what I'm going to do real fast is I'm looking for an experimental core group. I want a core group of people to help me do these workshops. They're going to be secretly have be done for free. So once you get started on this, you take the course, you grade it, you tell me what you think is what works, how easy to do. I want to make it a dynamite workshop for people. And all you have to do is mention all about the biology, and then I let you in as part of my core. I would love to have, say, 100 people in my core group that we can talk about. Well, all you have to do is buy the book. I'm going to use the book as the manual for it. And then I'll have another book.
That's which book?
Don't Panic, It's Organic book.
Okay, well, I want to make sure,
Yeah. So I'll let you know more and more what's going on there. The ideal scenario is go to my website, sign up for the newsletter, and there'll be a section there that says workshop. So it's going to be like this, just like this, except that you're going to call in. We're going to be live. I'll be talking to you, answering your questions, and helping you to become a really, really amazing gardener. Because everybody can do it. You just got to stop thinking. Quit watching the TV, man. Quit watching what they put on there that you can spray on shit and stuff. Doesn't work that way. Same thing with your body. Eat good food. So I'll see you guys next week. I forget what we're talking about next week, but I think I gave you a list.
Yeah, you sent me the list earlier today. I haven't actually taken that close of a look at where I would remember. But as for the channel, guys, on Friday, we've got Jerry Butler from Butler Family Farms on with me on Conversations in Ken's Cafe. And then Gardner Scott is supposed to be coming on with Leighton Morrison this coming Monday. So you guys are going to want to check all of that out. And hi, Canaflex, you're here at the very end of the show. It's a good way you're going to want to go back and rewatch. But other than that, guys, you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys on Friday.